Hey y'all, Natalie here today, and I'm creating this fun layout of my husband and I on a date night, and I'm using my favorite 3D stickers from Paper House Productions to inspire the entire design. So I have these vineyard stickers that are inspiring me to use that dark wood grain paper, and I do want to put some maybe like glass rings on the inside with mixed media. So let's get started. My idea is to kind of put that wood grain paper at the top and bottom of the page. So I used this real wine glass here, and I just kind of stuck the bottom in some watercolor spray. And I'm just adding two different colors together just to kind of give it some different details. But I'm just leaving rings, like, glass rings, like you should use a coaster. So this was fun. And then I'm going to go in and use my water paintbrush and just add a little bit more in some areas and let it drip a little bit, kind of creating that watercolor look. Not too much though. I do want to keep the circles intact. So this was fun. And then I also added in some splatters, of course, as one does. So I let this dry here. You'll see in a moment. I kind of go crazy on this page, actually. It's pretty chock full of stuff, but I had a lot of fun creating it. Sometimes you just got to throw a bunch of stuff on a page, right? So it is dry. And there is some green in those 3D stickers that I showed earlier. So I used some green cardstock, cut out, used my border punch, a floral border punch, and cut out this strip of green cardstock. I ripped the wood grain paper down, and I'm roughing up the edges because I don't want the tear marks. I want it to look roughened. And then that side had a lot of the white core middle showing. And so I did trim off some of the excess white that I didn't really want to show. And then I used the tool to rough up those edges as well. So I'm going to stick that at the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to cut the border punch piece in half because I just want the little scalloped edge to be peeking out from either side of the patterned wood grain. And it actually took me a stupid amount of time to tuck it in properly, so I'm not going to make you watch all of that. But I will show you just the beginning here. So this photo was taken last summer, late summer, I think. And we just got a kid-free night, and we went to a local winery about 30 minutes away, and even though, we've lived here always and forever, I don't think we'd ever been there before. And there was a food truck there. It was Cousin's Maine Lobster food truck, which I think they were on Shark Tank. So I think they're a chain and everywhere, and they're delicious. And so there was live music, and it was really fun. It was a good date night. So I wanted to document that. And plus I really liked the picture I took of us. So I have a picture of our wine flight and a picture of, I got lobster grilled cheese. So that's what's going on in that picture. Yum. So my title, I found it on Pinterest. It says Corks are for quitters, which I saw it and I kept scrolling to look for more examples, and then I was like, no, that's it. That's hilarious. And again, I've said this in other videos, but my favorite way of coming up with titles, I look up wine pun, or sometimes I look up t-shirt ideas. So wine t-shirts. So I die cut the quitters word with my favorite Pink Fresh Studio Heather die. And then I used cork letters for the word cork. And so for the little letters, I stamped in a light purple background, this new Amy Tangerine stamp I have. It's a plaid background. And then I put my alpha stamps on top of it in a darker burgundy color, and it says R4. So just the not important words, and just slice it down a little bit. And then I'm going to back it on that same wood grain paper. So I like that it brings together the top and the bottom by using that same wood grain and sticking it in the middle of my title there. So, gotta rough up the edges, that's me. I'm just stressed constantly. So then I remember that I just got this new stamp set. It's from Studio Calico, and it's called Local. I think it's called Local. It was designed by In a Creative Bubble, and this was a local vineyard, and I'm like, oh, I need to use this. And then I remember that I just got a new food stamp set from Citrus Twist Kits, and it's called Food Love. So I used both of those stamp sets on here. Now, I did put gesso on this background to create the rings. So when I stamp, you will maybe notice that it is a little blurry, and it is because that I have the gesso on the background. It's not so blurry that you can't read it, so I like it fine. I do that. The gesso, a lot of times I will put gesso on and stamp and then make a watercolor effect. I didn't want to do that. I did want to leave like the words intact, of course, with the stamps. But it works out. Like it's not too noticeable. But if it does look a little fuzzy, it's not the stamps. The stamps are fabulous and they stamp perfectly. It is because there is gesso on the background. So there's that weird little space there between the titles. So I just put this little pattern strip that came on the local stamp set there. And then the food stamp set had a wine glass, so I stamp a couple of those in there. And then I want to add in my 3D stickers from Paper House. So I go ahead and start cutting those out and sticking the bigger pieces around just to make sure that I'm not sticking a stamp somewhere that I intend for a 3D sticker to stick. And I used the almost all of the smaller ones on that sheet. I did leave the 2 larger ones because they didn't quite fit. But this is a journaling block from the local stamp set, actually. Oh, no, that's not true. That's from the food one. And it's to document your food. So I'm just going to use it to do a little bit of my journaling. So I used that darker burgundy color. And then I had a lobster stamp from another set. So I stamped that in the box instead of some of the food because that was what we had. We had lobster. So I'm just adding a little bit more of those little pieces around and then some sentiments. So that is a little block and you fill it in. And I think, let's see, I have the layout right here. The sentiment says a little adventure because that's what we did. We went on a little adventure. Now I'm going to go back through with the smaller 3D pieces and stick those around. And I really love the grapes. They're so gorgeous. And they have a little bit of glitter on the green leaf. So I love that as well. And it brings the 2 green bits from the edges together into the middle of the page. So I thought this page was just so fun. I just had a lot of fun making it. So sometimes you just got to play. I am not done stamping. I'm going to go back and add more stamps. And I know some people think it's super risky to stamp on a background, but I always figure like I could die cut an icon and cover it up if I mess it up, right? So I wanted to bring the burgundy up to the top because I didn't have any of that color up there. So I stamp another stamp up there, and then I use the baguette stamp to go in there because like lobster rolls come on a baguette. And then there was a food truck delight stamp. So I had to use that because it was a food truck. So I stick that down below some of those little pattern pieces. And then I use a star stamp from the local to give it 5 stars because it was quite delicious and definitely warranted 5 stars. And then I do think that's about done. I do add the date in the journaling off camera. But I had so much fun creating this. And again, like I always say, those 3D stickers from Paper House, they just make a page and it comes together so quickly if you don't decide to add 100 stamps on there. But you can, and it's super fun. I'm going to link down below with my affiliate link as well as a code to get 20% off any of your orders. They always have great sales going on as well. I thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.